Welcome to the SCORE workshop today on social media content creation. Uh, Creating content is a very important part of your social media marketing program. So we're going to take and look at the various opportunities, but also a little bit of background as to what social media is all about. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, there we go. There's me. Okay. What I do for a living is I'm a digital marketing strategist. And yes, I have more than 30 years of marketing experience, and most of it was traditional marketing. I used to sell newspaper ads and had been a newspaper advertising sales manager for several newspapers, but also dealing in several advertising agencies and communication agencies. So I dealt in the full range of traditional marketing, radio, TV, outdoor, direct mail, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of different things that I've done in my years of marketing. And I've last 10 plus years, I've been doing inbound and digital marketing because that's where the market has gone. That's where prospects and people have gone. They've gone digital. So we want to make sure that we reach those prospects and our customers where they live online. Okay, so my business focus is basically helping businesses get found in a search when their prospects are looking for what they do. And really, that's what you should be doing too in terms of your marketing program and your strategies. So, and part of that is social media. Good. Actually works. So here's your digital hub. It's your website. But all these other areas do come into play, and they should all connect to and sometimes point back to your website. But it's all about getting found in that search. So a website is crucial to your overall digital marketing program. Social media is a great tool. They are great tools, but you have to find which tool is actually going to work for you the best. So here are the top platforms based on a study that was done last year, 2019. I did not find an updated version for this year. But basically, it hasn't changed much year over year. There's a little difference in what the Twitter percentage had been, and Reddit actually shows up now as a social media platform with 11%. But you can see the top platforms are YouTube. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's not really a social platform, but there are opportunities there, especially with the comment section, where you can take and get engaged in conversations. And if YouTube were a search engine, it would be the second largest search engine in the world, not Microsoft or Bing. But in terms of social media, the big gorilla is going to be Facebook. 69% of the top people actually are using Facebook. And Instagram is next. And guess who owns Instagram? Facebook. But they reach two different demographic markets. So again, is it worthwhile using one or both? It all depends upon your prospect, who's going to be on those platforms, and whether or not you need to be publishing content and conversing with them. And you got to remember, social media is a conversational tool. So there's the other tools that are here: Pinterest, LinkedIn, which is more of a B2B platform. These other ones so far are pretty much a B2C. Some have B2B implications. Facebook's getting some of that. Definitely Twitter, but Twitter, a tweet lasts about 15 seconds, well, maybe 15 minutes, but it's one of those platforms where you have to be out there almost on a constant basis, continual basis. So YouTube, okay, here we got 1.9 billion monthly active users, 198 million users in the United States. That's a pretty good chunk of the population. And it's interesting to see that the male-female ratio is 62-38. But 81.2% of all U.S. internet users are looking at YouTube at one time or another. Facebook, worldwide, 2.3 billion active daily users, 214 million US users. Now, this was numbers from last year. It would be interesting to see what the last 6 months have been because of people being either locked into their house, so to speak, with COVID, that they have been more active. But the demographics are almost 50-50. But you can see the average age is 40 and above. So even though there is a spike 25 to 34 in terms of the number of users, really when you start looking at that number that's above 40, it really increases, and it actually is the majority of the users on Facebook. The numbers have skewed over the years. Instagram, now this is what I was talking about. There's 1 billion active monthly users, 77 million in the United States, and 70% are under the age of 35. And if anybody here is an active Instagram user, you know that this is a very visual media. And video is, ideal for this, the short little videos to grab their attention and get some interaction and engagement. And it is primarily a female to male kind of demographic that's on here. And some of that might be understandable with a lot of the entertainers that you may be following or may know of that are actually on Instagram and have millions and millions of followers. Pinterest, okay, 250 million active monthly users, almost 80 million in the United States. And primarily, this is a female-dominated social media. So this is definitely something that if you want to reach the female demographic and looking at the age groups under 50 is basically their sweet spot. So this is definitely one of those tools that you should be employing if your target demographic for your average customer or prospect is in this particular area. LinkedIn, like I said, this is a B2B space. You don't want to take and do Facebooky type stuff on here. If you start doing that, you're going to get flamed. You're going to get ignored. A lot of people, just don't like that kind of activity on LinkedIn. I'll get into that in a little minute in terms of the conversational styles of all these different social medias. So in the United States, there are 154 million US users. Now think about that for a minute. That is almost the entire job working population of the United States, right there, 154 million. So practically everybody that's working is on LinkedIn in some fashion. That also means that some of the top executives and maybe some of the decision makers that you want to reach are on here too. So if B2B is your marketing strategy, business to business, then LinkedIn is definitely a place you've got to take and invest some time on. Snapchat, 300 plus million active monthly users with 80 million in the United States. And again, the demographic of this is definitely skewed to the younger demographic and more female than male. Twitter. This is interesting. You can take a look at the demographics here. It seems like it's skewed older. 68 million US users. A lot of times I see Twitter as a news distribution channel. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy that's going on lately with Twitter and Facebook and some of the other social media in terms of controlling the kind of messages that are going out and being shared, and there's third-party fact-checking groups. So it's still something that is of value. If your prospects live on Twitter, definitely you should be involved in Twitter. Okay, WhatsApp. Now this is interesting. I have a client that is very interested in WhatsApp. It's interesting. It's more of a, let's say, international tool than US based tool. But I know that this particular client, which is actually based in the United States right here in Omaha, does want to reach that particular group. So they are very active also on WhatsApp and also offering their links. This is one of the things that we had to make sure that when we had to add social sharing tools to their website, that we included WhatsApp as a option, just because of the fact that where they reach, WhatsApp is a very big social tool. So social media, it's social, okay, not traditional. Traditional media is one-to-many messaging, and you're not listening to what's going on, okay? And marketing goals of traditional marketing is reach, frequency, branding, awareness, planting those seeds. So when your prospect is having the need, they think of your name and business. That's what traditional marketing is about. It's basically paid, okay? When I say basically, there is some opportunities for public relations, but a lot of times trying to get a news story in some of those medias is very difficult unless you're also advertising. Even though they say there is no tie between the two, there is in the real world, and just as there is in the digital world, okay? You want to surround the prospect from as many points of view as possible. So when it comes to traditional marketing, yeah, you may have to employ radio, TV, outdoor, some direct mail. So there's all these different areas so that you're basically presenting your message to a prospect from as many points of view, again, to the whole goal of saying, hey, when I think I need a particular solution to a problem, I'm going to think of this company. Okay. And the promotion is going to be directly tied to sales. So there's a good ROI structure, but you basically are hoping a prospect thinks of you when he or she is in the buying mode. Okay. Versus digital marketing. Okay. This is where social comes in too. You want to become a thought leader, or SME, subject matter expert. Okay. It's about reputation management. It's not only on the social channels, because some people will diss you there or comment or give you recommendations there. You want to be actually actively engaged on any of the reputation review type sites as well, so that you can take and reply and manage those particular comments and reviews as best as possible. But it's about engagement. And when I say engagement, you want the person to do something with the post and story you're actually putting out on the various social channels. Yes, it's about branding as well. So there's some, carryover between traditional marketing and digital marketing. Yes, it's also about awareness, because if you're not out there on a routine basis, they're going to forget about you too. Okay. Even the social channels, if you're not out there on a fairly frequent basis, delivering content that people like and are engaged in, they're going to start limiting the reach of your content to people that actually like your page. So that's why you have to be out there on a constant basis and know what works and continue to do that, so you can continue that engagement. So it's very critical to have that engagement, and also so you can keep the awareness out there. And it is a way to reach, the prospect. It's very interesting. I have a client that had absolutely no people liking his page when we first started out. And slowly, as we first ran some advertising campaigns to get the word out about his page, then we started writing content, and all of a sudden virally, it just increased, from 100 to like way over 1,000. And for his little community where he lives and is based, 1,000, 1,200, 1,400 people that actually like his page is actually it's almost 25% of the population in the community. So that it really is kind of outstanding. And there's been some posts that we've actually put out that have reached tens of thousands of people. Okay, so that's where we understand that if something's working, we just do more of it so that we can continue to get that viral exposure for his business. And frequency, again, the frequency is important depending upon the social channel. Like I said, Twitter is one of those things where you got to be out there multiple times a day, every day of the week to actually leverage that properly. But some of the other channels, if you're out there several times a week, that's usually pretty enough. But you really need to know what time of day is going to be the best time to take and post to reach your prospects the best. Okay, I put it in as free with quotes because really it's not free, because your time is worth something. But also there's going to be times where you might need to take and actually pay the social media to expand the reach of your post or your page to prospects so that you get basically more likes, so that, again, as you continue to post and you get them engaged, they continue to do something that's going to cause your visibility and awareness for your company to expand beyond just those people that like your page. To me, digital marketing, social media is about building relationships. Okay, so there's an ROR versus on traditional marketing, which is ROI, return on investment, versus ROR, return on relationships. And ultimately, the goal is always sales. Let's face it, if you don't have sales, you're not going to be in business very long. So what you want to do is continue to foster those relationships so that you can take and ultimately convert those people into a sale of some sort down the road. That doesn't mean that your posts are always very generic. Yes, you can take and put a sale type item out there, and we'll cover that in a minute. But this is really about being found in a search when your prospect is in the buying mode. And what I mean by that is they're going out and solving a problem, and you want to offer that solution to that problem. So the whole idea here is you have to understand the problems they're searching on, so you can take and create the content, the various places digitally, so that the solutions are being offered. One thing I like to tell people, or at least my clients, is nobody really cares about your products and services. They really don't, except you as a business owner. What prospects are looking for are solutions to the problem. So what you need to do is frame your digital platforms, your website and your social media, to offer the solutions to the problems prospects are looking for. And that's what happens. And understanding what they're doing. I mean, granted, they're speaking into their phones, they're asking questions. So you really need to have like an FAQ page on your website with those questions and answers, so they turn up in the search. Okay, it is conversational. You can't just post and run. It's about building relationships, and it really is supposed to be real. Now, as a business owner, you have a business page, and you generally do not take and post as an individual on there. So it's a little bit more difficult to be real, so to speak, but you really should be authentic. And when you're engaging with people, talk as a real person. If you want to take and say, hey, you need to contact me, call me at such and such a number, and actually put your name in that reply. Okay, again, I'm going to say it's conversational. Remember that. Facebook is the backyard barbecue of conversations. Friends, relatives, neighbors, you get around the old barbecue and you chat. It's really a B2C type platform. There are some B2B opportunities there. Let's face it, business owners also may go on Facebook, but they generally don't go on Facebook to solve their business problems. But it's one way to take and actually leverage that area. Now, I've got one client that's in the insulation business, and they deal both in commercial and residential. So we leverage it for both tools, but primarily the residential market is what we're looking at here on Facebook. Twitter is the cocktail party. Very short conversations that go on, and you have to, repeat them over and over again. Pinterest, I call it the ladies' bridge club. Remember when I said 80% of the users were female? So it's one of those areas that if your demographic is skewed female, that's really a great place to be. It's obviously very visual too with the boards. Instagram, I call mirror. A lot of ways, it is somewhat narcissistic. Especially with some of the entertainment people that are on Instagram. But I've used it for some clients. I use it individually. So it is something that does have some leverage, and obviously I'm following a number of businesses that I have interest in. So, and I have numerous accounts. I actually have the personal account as well as a business. Okay, it's not a separate account. It's really a business page that I access through my individual login credentials. LinkedIn is the trade show convention level of conversation. Again, I said that this is not Facebook. It's a very business-like environment, and that's what you have to use when you're posting on LinkedIn. Okay, it's about relationship building, actually adding yourself as a thought leader or subject matter expert in that. It's about building trust with the people that are following your page. So that's a little bit about social media. Understanding your buyer or prospect is key. If you don't know who you're trying to sell to, you're not going to find the right channel to actually talk to them on. So you want to make sure that you understand your buyer. So you have to understand their demographics and lifestyle. When I was in college, they called that psychographics, but basically it's lifestyle and behavior. It's this, it's the other part that, let's say, doesn't have, let's say, like the age and income and where they live, which is typical demographics. But it's like, okay, do they drive a Chevy or do they drive a BMW? Okay. Are they on LinkedIn or are they on Facebook or do they do Instagram? That's sort of what you want to do is you want to find out their lifestyle. Do they like to vacation down in the Caribbean or do they take and go to the Ozarks? Okay, those are kind of the things that you want to understand about their lifestyle so you can reach them the best. Where or what, and that is basically where they live online and what they're actually doing online. What are they actually posting? What are they looking for? And when, okay? And through a lot of the insights and tools that the social media channels offer, they do have insights on there. Not all are the same, but basically it'll tell you, let's say, I know like Facebook's really pretty good. It actually tells you days of the week. It tells you the number of people that are on those particular days. And then it will actually tell you what time of day they're actually more likely to be online. So when you understand that, then you can take and set up your posting schedule so that it reaches those people at those times. Okay, this person right here, I know, I met her like 11, 12 years ago. Buyerpersona.com is her website. She's got buyer persona creation templates. And this is where you understand your prospect. Buyer is a prospect, and you want to create a persona so you understand basically the demographics, all the things from the previous slide you want to take and understand. And that's what this buyer persona tool is all about. So she's got a lot of great free tools and her blog. So I encourage you to follow her. She is on LinkedIn as well. So that's one of those things where you could actually take and follow her on LinkedIn. Sometimes you may not be able to connect with these people because they may have maxed out the number of connections they can have. But you can still follow them so that you can still get the information in your feeds. Okay, so again, buyer personas, where prospects live. Okay, the business versus personal. You want to know where, if it's a business to business kind of relationship or a personal relationship. Pages versus groups. You can have a business page on LinkedIn. You can have a business page on Instagram. You can have a business page on Facebook. And you could do the same thing on Pinterest and some other things. You always start with a personal profile. Groups are another thing entirely. And on certain channels, it's a separate entity. Facebook's a little unique in that you can create a group that is connected to your business page. Therefore, you can take and post as an individual, you as a business owner, or you can post as a page on your group. And I can show you one of those examples when we get in there. One of the things you should try to do when you name any of your social medias, that you do it consistently with the same word. So it would be facebook.com/company name. And hopefully it's unique enough that you can do that consistently throughout all your platforms so that it's the same on all those particular platforms. When you take and publish, you need a goal, okay? What do you want the reader to do once they see your post? You want them to like it. That means different things on different channels. You want them to share it. Sometimes that's not always possible, such as like Instagram. You can copy and then put it on your own channel, but generally you can't share things. Engage, commenting, okay? That's share and engage. Commenting are really good tools on pretty much every one of the social channels because it does take and expands the reach of your content to another network. Or click, okay? Click means, of course, you're going to take them to a story that you're recommending or take them back to your website. Generally, it could be a landing page that you're talking about, or you want to have them read your latest blog post. Do not post and run. In other words, don't just take and stick some content out there and leave. Now, I know some people that I deal with that are, let's say like insurance agents or financial planners. They are under a lot of regulatory and compliance things, and generally they do not take and do a lot of engagement, and they usually have, let's say, another firm take and actually do the social media posting for them. And they're kind of limited that if somebody does comment on one of those posts and it's under their personal profile, then they're limited by saying, give my office a call, we can shake and chat about your concern. They don't want to take and do anything else on there just because of the compliance and regulatory nature of their business. A calendar. Okay. What you really want to do is create a social media posting calendar. Okay. So you can schedule your posts. You can actually, and I've done this for a number of my clients, I'll take and even like for SCORE, I'll take and schedule a number of posts out weeks in advance so that, I don't have to deal with them at a later time. And keywords research searches, understanding the keywords that are important to your business so that you can take and actually create the post with those keywords content, because sometimes those people are actually taking and searching on these various social platforms for those solutions by keywords. So here is a great tool that you can use. You can Google it as well. You can just Google the term social media calendar, but HubSpot's got a great one, and they have a guide on how to use it. And then they have a template, and it has a schedule, monthly planning calendar, repository, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, different calendars for different social media. Of course, you can create your own based on that. So it would be, you'd create a month and year, and then you'd have the 4 or 5 weeks of the month, and you would have Monday through Sunday on there, and you could take and actually, or Sunday through Saturday, and take and actually schedule your posts accordingly. So this is a great tool. HubSpot SM Calendar. It's a bit.ly shortener. And the reason I use bit.ly as a shortener on here, because it's a very long URL otherwise. This way it's a lot shorter and easier for you to take and just enter into a browser and go to. Here are some publishing tools that I've used over the years for automated delivery. Okay, Buffer, Hootsuite, and Delivereit. They offer some free and paid options. A lot of times now, even like Buffer and Hootsuite, they start out with a free premium. You cannot just sign up for the free version. You're sort of getting into a paid version, but once the 30 days are over, you can take and usually downgrade into a free version. And the free versions usually give you maybe up to 3 different social media platforms to be able to connect to the particular tool so that you can actually do some scheduling. But some of the tools aren't too expensive. There's other tools that are out there for social media publishing. So this is when you can take and actually create those posts and get them delivered when your buyer is ready. You set that up in the settings on these various tools. It helps you avoid the same content landing on the internet at the same time, which is something that the search engines used to really not like. But let's face it, I mean, you can't change your posts all the time. And the way things work out using these tools, it's very handy for any business person to be able to sit down one evening a week or on a weekend and plan out their social media postings and get them all taken care of. That doesn't mean that you can't post in between those times when something comes up that might be worthy of actually sharing with your networks. This is definitely a time saver because like I said, you can take, they've got dashboards, they've got a way to take and publish on these channels all at one time. So you don't have to go to each channel and do the publishing, which is, I mean, it's a big time saver. And like I said, they have dashboards. Hootsuite's pretty good because it does have a dashboard where you can go out and look at the various social channels. You can look at the news feeds right there. You can take and create different kinds of feeds where you want to take and just follow, let's say, a hashtag on a particular social channel so you can see what's going on that way. So it is kind of nice. I do like Hootsuite for that particular reason. Delivereit is one of those tools where if you're doing any kind of publishing on a blog, it can automatically deliver your blog post to social media channels. So that's one of the reasons I've used that in the past. So content creation, this is why you're here. Blogs and social media posts. You want to be the SME, okay? I always like to tell people I'm not a SME, but I'm a SME. I'm not a subject matter expert, because anybody that says they're an expert in social media or search engine optimization, they're lying to you. They cannot be an expert because it changes so fast. All you can be is a subject matter explorer, which is what I like to say I am as a SME. But you can become a thought leader. As you publish content, people say, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. So as they follow you and they become engaged, generally, if a need crops up, they're going to reach out to you. Okay, it does increase search engine results. Not so much in the social media, outside of the social media. Okay, it does help inside the social media, but a lot of the search engines no longer index the content inside social media. Outside of the about page, which is definitely one of those areas where you have to write the content as such, that is going to be keyword rich about the solutions that you provide. But when you talk about a post on your website, anytime you make a change in content on your website, a search engine will re-index the entire website. That means all your old posts and all the content that's on there. So it is never, ever a good idea to get rid of old posts that are on your website. And I know I dealt with that with a client, which was a franchise company, and their franchise basically had control of the website. And it was sort of a template design, carbon copy of all the other franchisors, but localized to that particular city locale. But it allowed them to take and actually publish content. But the franchisor would take and delete the content if it was 18 months to 24 months old. Never a good idea. But that was the game that they had to play. There wasn't much you could do about that. This is where you can engage with your market. Again, when you take and publish content, hold comments open on a blog post for 30 days or 60 days or whatever you feel is appropriate. But also on the social media posts, make sure that you engage with them. If there's somebody that's going to comment on it, you respond. Okay, keyword research. Very important to understand the solutions that your prospects are trying to solve, okay? And here's some tools that you can go out about and utilize to find those keywords. Google Ads, Microsoft Ads, do some competition research. And I use another tool that I plug in with, works on the Google Chrome browser. I think it may be on Firefox too. It's SEO Quake. It's a quick way to take and do an analysis of a web page. So you can go out to your competitor, look at their web page. You can actually see, okay, are they leveraging a meta description? What are they actually saying in there? Okay, take and do a keyword density research on that page and figure out, okay, what's going on there? These are the keywords they're looking for. So it helps you build, let's say, a list of keywords that you can take and actually utilize to find, let's say, actual search volumes. Now, Google Ads, unless you're spending a lot of money with them, they're only going to tell you ranges. Microsoft Ads, on the other hand, will actually tell you average monthly searches. So behavior between the two is very similar. So because it's almost like a 2.4 difference, in other words, there are 2.4 as many times searches on Google as there would be on Microsoft. You can take the numbers that you get out of Microsoft Ads and multiply them by 2.4 to give you some sort of idea on Google. But Google will give you numbers like 100 to 1,000 searches average. But they won't give you the monthly averages only because, again, you got to spend a lot of money with them in order to get that kind of information. And I'm talking about under a free account, how I take and go about this. Microsoft, on the other hand, does give you some information on a monthly look back. So like here, this particular client, which was an insulation client, and they also did concrete repair, we looked at different things. And you can see by the color code over the past 12 months, what is above average monthly search and what's below. So such as air quality tester. Okay, if that was an important keyword phrase, average monthly searches in the United States is 110 searches a month. Well, in May, the month of May, there's only 70. But you can see in October, it comes up to 140. And then December, 120. February, 150. So you're saying, okay, those are the months that you should be publishing content with that keyword phrase in your content blog, and then maybe share that blog on the social media so that when they see that on social media, they can actually click back and read your blog post, or just actually putting it on your social media and maybe with a link back to your website as a landing page on that particular topic. So the whole idea is publishing content with the keywords that people are searching on when they are searching for it. Okay, I have a CPA as a client, and he was doing some Google ads on his own without asking me or getting me involved initially. And I said, okay, he called me up and said, these aren't working for me. And I said, well, what's not working? So, well, I ran some Google ads and I'm not getting any traction. Okay, well, he was doing it in October and November. And the keyword phrases that he was looking for was quicken support and quicken help and that sort of thing. QuickBooks. And I started doing some analysis, and the months of October, November, December are the lowest time periods of the year that anybody is searching on that keyword phrase. When do you think the highest times were? Now, if I was in an interactive class here, you probably start saying, wow, it's about probably tax time, like after the first of the year. Yep, January, February, March, and April. Those are the highest times of the year that people are looking for QuickBooks support, QuickBooks helps. So that's where I said, you're trying to take and drum up business when you're slow, but you're trying to have people, using a search term that people aren't searching on. That's not very helpful. Use the search terms that people are searching on at that particular time period. So, and maybe it's not even worthwhile taking and advertising at this time of year, because you can't beat a dead horse or lead them to water when they don't want to drink. It's just kind of one of those things where if people aren't interested in buying that product or service or finding that solution to that problem, it's not going to help. So, but anyhow, I build this little spreadsheet for my clients that shows graphically when they should be looking at times of the year to take and actually publish content with the keyword phrases that are important. So this is the content creation cycle. And it's listening, engaging, publishing, and then listening, 3 key elements. And when you create, let's say, a program, this is sort of like a rule of thumb. You listen 25% of the time. So if you're going to devote 1 hour a week, 15 minutes is going to be listening, looking for, mentions of what you do or your business. And you want to engage with those posts at least a half an hour then, 50% of the time. And then you want to publish content 25% of the time. So it'd be 15, 30, 15 again. And the whole idea is that once you publish, you want to listen to see whether or not anything is actually, if it's actually being engaged. So content creation, yes, I think a blog is very important for your business. It's to basically uh, put content out there around the keyword phrases that people are searching on. And you want to use that in the title. You want to use that in the headlines and subheads. You want to take and use it in italics, and you want to use it in bold content, but you want to use it in semantic speech. You don't want to take and look like you're stuffing the keyword phrases into the content. You want to make it look normal, but you want that density in there so that it actually helps in the overall um, search engine optimization, so it can turn up in a search. Newsjacking. Newsjacking is a concept. It's actually coined by a guy that I met years ago, David Meerman Scott. New Rules of Marketing and PR is one of his books, Worldwide Rave. He does have one on newsjacking. And really what the concept is, if there is a story locally that strikes a responsive chord with something you do, then you should publish content immediately on that, referencing those particular tools. Okay. Here's an example. My insurance agent, who I have not done any business with outside of paying him, he's an independent, so he has a little more freedom in terms of what he does for a website and content. But years ago, there was a fire down in the old market. M's Pub burnt down. Well, this was a perfect opportunity for him to take and reference the old market fire, M's Pub, and the need for business continuity insurance. Okay, so he could leverage that particular instance and talk about what business continuity insurance will provide. It will provide income streams for him until they get rebuilt. It'll take and maybe provide some payroll assistance for, his staff, so he can keep his staff on board so they don't have to go on unemployment or find another job and lose that talent. So that's where, he should take and leverage it. Now, a year he didn't do anything, and was kind of, I was kind of disappointed because I'm giving him this advice and saying you should be publishing content on it. Well, a year later, my wife and I are sitting down in the morning and having some coffee, and we're watching the morning news. And here they talk about the 1-year anniversary of the old market fire in M's Pub. And right away I start thinking, well, here's another opportunity. Well, my wife turns to me and says, yeah, I wonder how a business could stay in business a year without any kind of income. And I said, perfect example again for business continuity insurance and an opportunity to take and create blog posts and things about newsjacking, taking actually any stories that are online and actually referencing them and linking them into that content. So you actually build, let's say, some subject matter expertise because you're talking about something that people are searching on. And you also may get, let's say, a call from or a quote from one of the reporters in a news story. And guess what? News websites are some of the highest rated and indexed websites because they're constantly putting out new content. So, and that content usually lives a very, very long time. So the idea is that you want to take and put that content out there so you can get found and maybe get quoted by a reporter as well. So newsjacking has a lot of different benefits for you. So if you see something going on that applies to your business that you can offer a solution for, you can actually sound like a subject matter expert and talk about that in a post. Any new content that you put out is great for search engine optimization. Again, within the social media platform, as well as outside when you do it on your website. Because when you take and do new content, search engines re-index the entire website. All right, content creation. I love this little gal here. A lot of people probably can't identify with the phone, but the 411 program. Now, most people remember that 411 is information. So this is where I'm talking about when you create content. It's all about information. It's not selling, okay? You constantly sell, you're going to turn people off, okay? Especially on social media. I had a friend of mine that runs a business, and he was on LinkedIn about 6 times a day, and he'd have a post on there, and he was selling all the time. And I asked him one time, how's that working for you? Well, it's not. And I can't figure out why. I says, because you're always selling. People just skip by that stuff. You want to take and put something out there that they're going to stop and read. Okay. So you want to share 4 posts. And this could be just a generic post on something, or let's say you see a story somewhere in a media channel that you want to share. You share a link to. Okay, your goal is for them to take and maybe click the link and read the story. That's not as valuable to you as, let's say, why you are sharing it. You got to put that in the content of that post. And then, so you're pointing out why you're a subject matter expert, why you're sharing this, why you think the people that are connected with you or like your page, why you think it's important for them to read. That can take and build engagement, especially if you take an ad. Well, what do you think? You know, after you read the story, what do you think? Tell me what you think. That helps build comments. That's engagement. That takes and actually adds viralness to your post, because your post then gets shared with their networks. Reshare a post. Okay, so you're following somebody, you reshare that post. Okay, resharing the post will help them a little bit, but also, again, you want to take and do it so that you are adding something of value to your network by resharing that. Okay, and encourage engagement. Okay, all of the first 5, you're not selling. You don't want to sell. You're sort of soft selling yourself as a subject matter expert, but you're not saying, hey, come here and buy me for this or whatever. You create a new post, and that can sell. Okay, you want to take and maybe link it to your blog post. Okay, you can. Okay, I follow a lot of bike shops because I'm a cyclist. So you can put a sale out there that you've got a sale going on, whatever. And that'll be a way to take and increase traffic in the store or online, whatever works. Hashtag use, very big on Twitter and Instagram. Those are hashtag heavens. It varies on platform. Twitter and Instagram, I mean, a lot of hashtags. Facebook, it wasn't quite as accepted. There was some etiquette things. Oh, you can't do that. Hey, it's changed. Used to be you only had to, if you did more than 3, it got a little bit overdone. But the idea is on a hashtag is that it expands the reach of your post beyond your network. In other words, the people that like your page or that you're connected to. And when I say that is there are people that will take and actually search on hashtags. And within the social media platform, that's exactly what you do. You start out hashtag and you start typing, and it'll take and actually show you the top results. As you continue to type, it'll change to, let's say, those hashtags that are being used. So you can actually copy those and use those within your content. And that's one way to expand the reach of your post to new markets. So, and some of the platforms are really kind of nice because they will actually show you the numbers of people that are actually searching on those hashtags, how many times they're actually being used. So those are things to look at. But like I said, when you take and start typing any kind of hashtag or search term, basically the social tool or the search engine is going to take and show you what are the top 5 results. So that's one way to take and find the hashtag. Okay, as we talk about Facebook, and we'll get into Facebook, Instagram is not as nice on a desktop as it is on a mobile platform, so I'm not going to go there. Twitter maybe we'll take and show some of that. I've got some other tools that we can actually look at, but Facebook is the 2 billion pound gorilla. A lot of people are on there. B2C platform with some B2B potential. Page versus group. A page is you're delivering it as your business. Groups are more of a discussion and community type thing, but your page can have a group. And I can show, let's say, some examples within some of the groups that are pages that I manage. Insights and analytics are very good on Facebook. I do like what they're doing there. Some of the other platforms, you can get, let's say, number of people that are engaged on it or seen it or something like that, but it's not quite as in-depth as on Facebook. And then why you should boost or pay for your post to go out. Well, you can boost a post, which is okay, but a lot of times you want to go into the ad manager to actually craft an ad and actually build it through the tools that are back there separately from a post, because it's much more robust and you have a little more control over where the ad is actually showing up. Okay, most people today use Facebook on a mobile platform. Okay, on the far right is the mobile platform for Score. Basically, that's our page. Okay, so you can see, as a business owner or a page manager, I can actually get to it and look at different things on here, post things right from here. In the middle is the business suite. That is something relatively new. I'm still exploring it a little bit because, like I said, it's new in the sense that it just sort of came out in the last 30 or 60 days. It replaced the Facebook Pages tool. There are some differences here, some things I'm not too crazy about, but it's a way to actually manage things a little bit differently. Like here, you can see the ad effectiveness that we've got going right now on an ad for our marketing academy. It's a virtual academy of, I don't remember how many, like a dozen type workshops that we're doing. So we're spending some money to get some reach, how many clicks, the cost per click, the amount of money that's being spent. So there's more details that we can look at on that particular thing, and the mobile tool is one way to do that, even though I generally, when it comes to doing ads, I'll go onto the desktop, just to show you that the Facebook Business Suite that's what it looks like on a Google Play Store, to take and actually download it and put it on your phone. Again, it's relatively new. Obviously, there's no reviews right now. So some of the things I have seen on it, there's some people that don't particularly care for it. I haven't found anything that I'm not crazy about. But again, it is new. It's replaced the pages. So it's like, okay, I got to learn some of the new things on where things are stored here. So here we're going to get into a demo of social media. Have any questions so far? No questions? Okay, let me take and go to, and I'll share this screen as soon. New share. Okay, So this is actually Buffer. And I wanted to go here to show you Buffer in the sense that you can take and post things out. For example, here, there's 8 posts on Facebook. This is the Facebook icon. The next one is LinkedIn. There's 9 posts scheduled there. And on Twitter, we've got 7 posts. And it's about our marketing academy workshops. And you can see where we've got different time periods showing up, but I don't have any posts there. But all of a sudden, here we go on Monday, November 2nd. There's another marketing academy post. And I schedule it so that this reaches around the time period when people are looking, and also before the event. So I'm not putting all the events out there so early that people won't see it. So just like LinkedIn, we're seeing the different things. Like here's something that is going to hit on the next workshop for November. Okay, social media. What is SEO? We're going to talk specifically about search engine optimization. This post will hit our LinkedIn page for SCORE tomorrow, and it'll be at 9:17 a.m. And then we have a chamber event, law workshop. So these are the posts. So we schedule these things so that they can be, out there. And I did this quite a while ago. So it's not something that you have to take and, let's say, do the day of that you want to post it. That's what this tool is all about. Unfortunately, unless you're using a paid version, you're not going to get any analysis out of Buffer. So they want you to take and actually buy it. It's $50 a month. Well, I'm not doing that. This is actually for SCORE, and SCORE, they can double my salary and I'll still get paid the same amount. So anyhow, because I'm a volunteer on this. Now let's go over here. And all right, so here we are on, we'll get back to home. Okay, so this is the SCORE business page in Facebook. And it can tell me different insights, because as a page manager, I'm seeing things that you as a user are not going to see. Now, the thing with SCORE is that it's a national organization, and as such, there is a marketing firm that actually does post on a routine basis out onto the SCORE pages. They do not go and actually engage with anything. That's really up to myself, because I'm one of the few people that actually have management rights on the SCORE page to actually look at what's going on here. But for example, I created a pinned post here on the Marketing Virtual Academy. There's 11 sessions. We actually ran ads on it. And what it's done is it actually has increased our reach September 24th through October 21st, 27,000 times people have been reached. Engagement, 770 people have engaged in the posts that we put out. And that's liking. Now, when somebody likes a post on Facebook, it means they're only going to see more of your stuff. What we really want them to do on Facebook is we want them to comment and share, because that increases the viral nature of your post to their network as well. And then we've increased the number of page likes. So that's always good. So here we've got some of the posts. Like here's a post that was by Buffer. That was one that I put out on this particular workshop. Got it out kind of late. It was like stuck in the queue. But here's one from the national firm, because it says by moment feed. Now, granted, I can see that, but as an end user, nobody else will. Okay, they'll just see that when it was posted. So, and then over here on the left side, you have your menu items. This used to be across the top of the page, and now they have it off to the left. So you have an inbox where you can, look at messages that people send you. You can publish events. You can look at your events that you have published. Resources and tools, there's notifications. I usually go through the notifications just to see what's actually happening. But generally that means people have liked something, they've engaged with it, they've shared it. And so that's where you actually see that. Now, then there's insights. And this is the area that I'm talking about. Let's see if we get insights. We'll let this load. So the last 7 days, we can actually see what's been going on. The post has reached 14,000 people. We've increased by 6 likes. We've got 220 post engagements, no new recommendations, but you can change this to saying, I want to look at the last 28 days. So the last 28 days at least can give you some sort of trend, and you can get some idea what's going on. So followers and the like. Now, one of the things is you'll actually come down here and you'll actually see this, your 5 most recent posts, and it'll give you the reach. It'll give you basically organic or paid, since we're a nonprofit organization. Pretty much is always going to be free, but we do have some ads running now. But this is the engagement that we're looking for, okay? Because reach is one thing, but the engagement is where the money is. And so you can actually see here, score mentors, and then it gives you suggested pages to watch. Well, if you click see all posts, this is where you can actually get an idea on usage, okay? 1 week period when your fans are online, 388, 404, 395. And as you scroll through here, you can see the impact on a daily basis. And it's mirrors pretty much the average, because when you're here, this is the average. But you can see as you scroll through, 7 a.m., 191 people could be online that your post could reach. Well, if you want to reach the most, you go out here at 7 p.m., there's 223. So there's different times, 10 a.m., noon, 200. So actually throughout the day, with Facebook and Score, it's a good time to take and publish content. And then it actually helps you drill down to seeing what's going on with the other posts. And here's our ad. Okay, join the SBA and Score for the Virtual Academy. And this is where we got 22,600 people that have seen the ad. 538 have been engaged in it. And so this is one way that you can actually go in. You can click on the post details, and now you can get more information on the performance. There were 37 likes, 29 on the post, 8 on shares. So there's 8 people that liked it on a share. Somebody shared it. 4 people loved it, 4 on posts, 0 on shares, 18 shares. Link clicks, 322. So they were clicking on the Learn More button. That's exactly what I wanted them to do, especially since this is a free workshop run by the Small Business Administration. And if you didn't know, SCORE is sort of under the Small Business Administration of the federal government. And then there were other link clicks, and that could have been just somebody clicking on the picture versus the Learn More button. But we could start seeing what's going on here. There was one comment. You can look at the comment, and it was just Holly Baker saying to Hannah Stock, hey, look at this. And Hannah Stock actually said, yeah, I love this. So as a group, as a SCORE mentor, I can say, hey, I like that. So SCORE mentors, I actually like that. And that's one way to actually re-engage with Holly. So that's a lot of times what I do with comments, or if I can take and actually respond, if somebody actually puts some other information in the comment box, I can respond to it. And I'll show you some of that on some of the other pages that I manage. So the Ad Center, that's really one of the places that you go to actually create an ad versus taking and boosting a post, because it gives you the opportunity to say, okay, this is my audience. This is who I want to reach. These are some of the words. If you want, let's take and actually go there. Let's take and create an ad. So it tells you, what do you want to do? Promote the page, get more leads, recommended, boost a post, build your business, get more website visitors. Okay. And Facebook launched something new recently about get more leads. That's managing the lead structure within Facebook. Okay. That's not necessarily sending them to your website so they can fill out a form on a landing page. It's really managing it within Facebook. And I just used that for one of my clients. We did just 5 days worth of ads just to see how that would go. We spent $100. We got 8 leads, and they were solid leads. So he hopefully has engaged with them and found out whether or not they have turned into clients, because it could mean, some serious money, much more than the $100 that we actually invested on the ads. But a lot of times it's like, I want to get more website visitors. You want to send them to a website landing page. So this is not what I want. This is definitely not what I want. You could use a post, but let's see here. Let's go here. Okay, so this is actually a local SCORE workshop that's actually starting up, thinking about opening a brewery. Okay, join the National Agricultural Law Center October 21st, which is, well, that was yesterday. So that's not going to be very helpful. But we would take and actually change this to learn more. Or if it was an event, there is some registration. If there's a registration option, shop now, see the menu. Book now would be maybe the opportunity there. And then you would take and actually put the web link in this particular location where you want them to go. I'm just going to copy this bit.ly for now. Okay, so it's not a special ad category. Audience details. This is where you would define this. And this tool is pretty much the same all the way around. And you say men, women, all, and you want basically a group. And as you change this, you can see the number on the potential reach change. So maybe you want 21 and higher for this. And this is Omaha, 25 miles. Well, you want to take and maybe add start typing Omaha, it's going to say Omaha, Nebraska. And advanced targeting feature, go to Ads Manager. Oh, it gave me the old Facebook view. Maybe that link doesn't work. Okay. Well, let's go back there. Okay. So here I hit Omaha and it says 10 miles. Now the thing is with with Facebook, you can do 50 miles. So if you're just looking at that particular area, but you can actually change this to say Nebraska, and you might want to say Iowa, because this is a virtual. Kind of, oops, Iowa Western. I don't want Iowa Western, I want Iowa. Okay, so I got the state of Iowa. Then you might want to take and put in beer. Draft beer, beer garden, beer festival, beer in Mexico, draft beer. And you can see the numbers are changing a little bit. Let's put in brewery, Milwaukee Brewers. So did the numbers change? How about business? $710,000. Entrepreneur. Now, what's interesting is that, okay, I'm typing these terms in there and it's giving me suggestions for an audience. That information comes from the behavior of the users on Facebook. So when you're visiting different sites or you follow certain businesses or you like certain things, you engage with things, Facebook is tracking that. So they can take and sell ads to people like me that want to take and reach out to them. So this is one way to say, okay, my audience is 710,000 people. So now I've got my audience. And it says, okay, here's when you can take and how run the ad 5 days. Okay, end date October 27th. You can change this and say you want to run it longer, 10 days. And then your total budget, your daily budget, maybe you want to make it $25 a day. So now, over here, it says people reached 1.8, 1,800 to 5,200 is what we're looking at. Your total budget is $250. And it's saying that it's going to be on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. Okay, if you have a Facebook pixel, you put it on your website so that it can track that kind of behavior and give you some additional information that you can maybe leverage to create a better audience. And then, of course, it wants to know the payment method. Well, I'm not going to take and do this because this was for something that happened yesterday. But this is sort of how you take and go through the process of boosting a post. And you can go in here and actually change the content because you may already have learned more. So you want to take and save some of that information, some spacing. So you just have this up there. Again, that content, you have to think, what is going to help you reach that prospect to get them to do what you want them to do, which is to click on to learn more. Basics of marketing and sales 101 are four steps. The first three you're going to take and do here: arouse interest, create desire, motivate action. So you have to think of what is the goal, what is the action you want them to do. So you want to take and craft the content that's in this post to take and actually do those three things. The last thing is close the sale, make the sale. Generally, your stuff can't do that. It's going to take some interaction between somebody in your business and that prospect, but not all the time. I mean, if there's just online sales and the threshold for buying is very small, I mean, people are going to do that. I'm looking at maybe replacing my HVAC system in my house. Well, obviously, I'm not just going to buy online. I want to be able to talk to somebody. So I want to have a sales rep that I can actually chat with. Because I'm looking at, this is going to be $7,500 to $10,000 to take and update a system like this. So you want to make sure that you can't do that online. But if I'm talking about actually buying, let's say, some new cycling clothes, boom, I can take and do that and close the sale online. But like I said, arouse interest, create desire, motivate action. This is my business account for Twitter. So these are the things that I follow on here. And like I was saying, when it comes to hashtags, social media marketing, 190 tweets in the last hour. So I want to find that. I want to see what they are. And you can create your lists and different things. And Hootsuite, you can actually take and put a tab just for this particular hashtag on your dashboard and actually follow it or follow individuals and have different things. So the Hootsuite is kind of a nice tool, but again, you may have to jump through some hoops nowadays to actually start out on that and get a free account. Somewhat disappointed because I thought it was actually showing me different numbers, would show me numbers outside of the one number it actually gave me. SEO, search engine optimization. Then, of course, it's giving me some suggestions there. Let's go. LinkedIn. You always start out with a personal profile look and your news feed. Social media, social advertising, social comments. So you can see these are the top results. Social media. Okay, so this one told me there was 8,545 followers. So here's some new ones when I took and add that. 2.8 million followers on leadership management, 36 million followers, careers, COVID-19, 1.1. So, I mean, this is kind of, interesting where you can take and actually get some other things that you may want to follow. Now, when you're doing this, you can actually say, I just want social media as my search. So these are the people that actually have used that in there. I'm going to take and actually say I'm following that. There it is, social media. See all sorts of stuff on social media. Weird. Okay, let me go back to Facebook because I want to take and go to the Bellevue Bicycle Club, which is the club that I'm part of, because I want to show you about groups. Okay, so the Bellevue Bicycle Club has a business page. And we've got 900 and some people that like it. But we've also created several groups. And some of them are private, some of them are public. One of the most recent ones that we're actually very active in, the Ragbri and Brand, those are just for club members. They're private. Recommended rides, we really haven't been too active on. But Heartland Area Cyclists, this is the one that we're actually doing a lot of work on now to expand our reach. The whole reason we did this is to create an opportunity to connect with other cyclists that are maybe not members of the Bellevue Bicycle Club, and then have them be exposed to stuff that we're doing and actually maybe take that next step and join the club. So there is some reason why we're doing that. We take and actually put in the about section of what we are about. We take and actually post different things that are important to riders in the area. And then we take and actually share that with other groups. So here Doug actually took and said, hey, this one's blurry, you know, when you try to zoom. So I actually went back just as the Bellevue Bicycle Club. Remember, this is a group and we're posting just as the BBC. And I posted another picture of this trail closure that's much clearer. Problem is, what we got from the local government regarding the trail closure was a little bit, should I say, not as good a quality. So this should be the Bellevue Bicycle Club, and this is the post itself. 1,240 people reached, 178 engagements. Okay, people liking it and commenting and shares. See, now the shares, this is where I shared it with Nebraska Bicyclists. I shared it with the Omaha Connect Ride. I shared it with Cycling Omaha, Nebraska. Now, one of the things about sharing it with Cycling Omaha, Nebraska, is you go over the top. This would be considered a preview, by the way, a page preview, or this is a group preview. There are 2,500 members in this group. Okay, so our group on the BBC is 130. To expand our reach, I shared it as an individual on this group. So it would turn out like this. Okay, so here is the post I shared yesterday at 20 to 11. And I added some content up on top. So I'm sharing a post from the Bellevue Bicycle Club. And the idea here is that obviously I'm trying to build awareness and visibility for the club as a resource for cyclists in the area. And I'm sharing it on a very popular group in the Omaha area in terms of our cyclists. So this is where we did get some different things. And we've got one comment here from Sidonia. And she said, thank you. Okay, basically on trail closure. So, and I think this should take, and if somebody clicked on it, I'll have to take and add that other picture. But basically the idea is that if they clicked on it, they could get to the Bellevue Bicycle Club page and then post. Again, we're trying to market this a little bit. So, and that's why, you know, talking as individuals. Now, some groups you can join as a business page, but I usually like to take and say, talk as an individual. And this is actually somebody pointing out the same thing about the trail closure that I pointed out hours earlier with that other post. But he actually took a picture of the trail closing. I might actually take and copy the link to that particular post in here and actually point that out as well. So that's one of the things you can do with your social media posts to expand the networks that are actually seeing it, to maybe build some more brand awareness for your business. Do we have any questions at this point?
I haven't seen any come in. If you have questions, you can feel free to either ask them in the Q&A section or to ask them in chat.
Yeah, and I do encourage everybody to take and fill out the evaluation. If there's something that you specifically would like to see, now would be a good time to ask it. We can go out to you know, the platforms to actually, you know, visit that. Let me see. Like I said, Instagram is not necessarily very friendly on a desktop. So this is kind of a neat way on Instagram when you take and do a search for social media marketing. There are 12 million posts. Social media manager, 1,400,000. Social media, 20 million posts on social media. So you can see those are very hot hashtags, and it's a way to expand beyond your network when you use those in your posts. And so you can actually get social media marketing, and you can actually see, you know, some of those posts that are out there. I'm going to go back home because there's one couple I was following. Let's see if they're here. Here they are. Morton, Innes. This couple's from Denmark. I met them back, I believe, in late July, early August. They were biking across the United States. And so they're down in Florida right now. They're on the return trip. They actually ended up in Miami. They sold their bikes, they rented a car, and they're working their way up. And this is where Morton takes and has a lot of hashtags. His favorite one is Bikepacking USA 365. Now, that happens to be a hashtag I think he may have crafted, because that's also a website URL. If you put a .com on that, you'd get to the story and the travels, basically his blog post for what has been almost a year's worth of biking across the United States. So he and his wife are from Denmark, and they will be returning to Los Angeles for the return trip back to Denmark, probably over the next several months. They're not in any hurry to get there. As a cyclist, we call this electrolyte replacement. But he does a great job of putting content in here. And like I said, when it comes to Instagram, yeah, I can like it. I can comment on it. This is, okay, share to direct. So I can actually share it, share to Facebook, share to Messenger, share to Twitter. So there's some opportunities. And one of the things that I usually tell people to do is when they take and actually set up their business account on Instagram, that when they take and do a post, they have it set up so that it will automatically share to other platforms. For example, my Marketing Geek one, which I use for, this is a personal one, and it's cycling related more so than anything. I do have a business account as well, On Q Marketing LLC. But when I post here, it usually asks me, do I want to share it on Facebook? Do I want to share it on Twitter? Do I want to share it on this other platform that I don't remember because I don't have a profile there? But pretty much that's where you can take and actually leverage that. Let's see. So if I wanted to take and add a comment, I think this is direct message. No, it's adding a comment. Well, we've conversed back and forth, Morton and I, over the last few months. So it's just been interesting to follow his trek across the United States. And he's posted mostly pictures, some video. There's another marketer, he likes to share his lunches. Then here's like a bike shop that I follow that's also a coffee shop. Scooters is one of my favorite coffees, as well as one of the local franchise holders is a friend of mine. So I follow Franklin Graham. He does a lot of things, Diamondback Bikes. Obviously, what I follow on my business page is different than what I follow on my personal page. But like I said, I wanted to show you how you could actually do a search for hashtags on this. On a mobile platform, I can switch between different accounts that I've actually logged in. And I don't know if I've got the On Q Marketing one on here. So this is Monica Sempic. This is actually a photographer I know. Why is this? Okay, Pink Shoe Cleaning is actually a client. A couple of friends of mine. So it's a little different. I usually use Instagram just on the mobile platform. So they may have made some changes here. But I think still setting it up, I've only done it through a mobile platform to set up business accounts, personal accounts, just because it started out as a mobile tool. So most of the functionality is there in the mobile platform. Oh, I did a test one time with a direct message. Okay. So I think we'll let you go if if there's no questions, but outside of that, if you need some help, omaha.score.org. There's a lot of free tools available. Other workshops are listed there, as well as the ability to connect with a mentor if you have any specific questions. And, pretty much it's all free. So it's worthwhile taking advantage of if you want your business to grow. One of the things I've learned after starting my business 10 years ago is that I wish I would have ran into SCORE a lot sooner, because being able to take and ask some people that have been there and done that, got the t-shirt, is worth it many times over. Even though you're not paying for it, it's worth the time and effort to take and engage with a mentor to take and help your business. Oh, do we have a chat here? What's in chat? Okay. You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
All right. Well, if you need to view this again, we will be posting it on our YouTube channel later next week. And I think we're going to sign off for now. Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Thank you, Bree. Talk to you next month.
Talk to you next month.